Here we are.
Hello.
Welcome in,
Overtime for
everybody.
overtime.
The NBA front office overtime show is perfectly timed because we've got overtime right now.
Let's go.
The
Opening
Clippers
night.
and the Suns. We'll be keeping an eye on that one, and we'll be talking about everything else going on around the NBA. Keith, this is awesome. This is awesome that we actually have an overtime game for our first NBA front office overtime.
Could not have planned it any better unless we tried, and we don't have that kind of power, so we'll take it. But yeah, we're excited, guys. This is something new we're trying out here on the front office show feed. We're gonna select nights when there's no late night games that would be cannibalizing from each other feeds along the network and the like. We'll go live at the end of the night. The idea here is just to break down what we saw in the game that day. That's what we want to see. You guys jump in there, throw us your thoughts, let us know the games you watch. We'll talk about what we saw in the games we were watching throughout the course of the night. But this is really your show. If you want to vent, let us have it. Let us hear them. If you want to get into bragging on your team, let's hear that too. We want to hear all of it. So it's for first night. We'll obviously, like Trevor said, we'll be keeping an eye here on Clippers Suns. We're about a minute into overtime. Clippers are up by 1. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, we're excited, man. It's going to be this is going to be fun to do this, to break down the games each night with y'all and get into a bunch of different teams and just what we saw that night.
Absolutely. This is going to be a blast. We're keeping an eye on this. I'm reacting, of course, as big plays are being made in Clippers Suns. Keith, I will say with 10 games tonight, I will freely admit, I did not see every single game. And that's the problem for me anyway. It's with the earlier games. You got family home, all that. It's not easy to focus in on a game, but I did bounce around as much as I could tonight. Watched a little bit of a number of different teams. And so I can't wait to break down everything that we saw. I guess first and foremost, Keith, the Clippers' new arena. It's pretty nice. It looks pretty good cool there, and that fan wall is pretty sick.
Yeah, that's neat, man. I think we see now what this may be, right? This may be what we see moving forward here with these arenas and stuff. That this could be, kind of setting a new trend as other ones open up. I think this may be where it is. So I think it's cool. I've heard you can't really see it on TV. They've shown it a couple times as they've shown the arena, but the video board, I guess, the ring thing that they have is supposedly absolutely insane. There's really a cool thing with that they do at this. The start of the second half, it's like stormy seas or something, and some cool effects. So yeah, it's supposedly really neat. So I'm super excited for that. So it's good stuff there, and we'll see. I mean, they've clearly the crowds helped lift a fairly limited Clippers team that's missing some guys tonight into doing pretty well. Yeah, hey, we got this. Let's go. Like spike right off the jump. Let's go. We got a lot of people watching already. Let's go. We're going to be in there. We're going to be doing this, like I said, select nights. Let's jump into, as we kind of said, we're keeping an eye on this one to wrap up. But I'm gonna pull up what we're gonna do. We're gonna just jump around, look at some box scores and the like. No, I did not get a nap in. Unfortunately, I ended up doing stuff all afternoon and missed my nap. I already texted Trevor and I told him my first mistake, not taking a nap. So that will be on the agenda moving forward from there. But yeah, so let's go. We're gonna do this. Hopefully it looks fairly clean. I think that's pretty good. So this is the just kind of go in chronological order here. Pacers, Pistons. I watched a lot of this one because this one was the early one. This one tipped a half hour before anybody else did. So we got to really lock in for a full half hour on the Pacers and Pistons. And I thought the Pistons gave it a real run. But the Pacers were just they're the better team, and they closed really strong. Unfortunate moment. James Wiseman was playing well. He dreaded no one around him. turned around, looked back like he got kicked in the heel, and then crumpled to the floor. And it looks like that's, unfortunately, we don't know. We haven't heard any update on it, but that that is the telltale sign of like a torn Achilles, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it looked like. So I think we're all pretty nervous on this one. So it's a bummer because he really got off to a nice start for the Pacers and was doing some stuff and was, I think, set to play a pretty big role there. And they've done a good job with rehabbing young big men and getting them going like they did with Jalen Smith. So let's hope for the best for James Wiseman, but that did not look good.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. The guy, you think you got kicked, and then the Achilles, it's a torn Achilles almost every time. We'll see. We just saw it happen with Deshaun Watson, and with that one, you could actually see it pop.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not what James Wiseman is dealing. We've had, Keith, it's opening night. So many players out. Opening night for so many teams. So many players out injured already. We had a big DeJounte Murray injury. We've got this James Wiseman thing. Like, man, absolutely.
Brandon Miller left early.
Brandon Miller left. Brandon Miller may have thrown down the dunk of the season.
Yeah.
And then left.
Opening. Yeah.
That was insane.
Exactly. And then who was the other? There was somebody else missing it. Emmanuel Quickly left early in that game as well. So yeah, it's just a bummer that we're already, like you said, dealing with a bunch of guys out. And then we had 4 more guys, including 3 major guys for their teams, and Miller, Quickly, and see, this is what happens when I get really tired. DeJounte Murray, 3 major
DeJounte
players
Murray with a broken hand
are all out right now. So we'll see, but what happens with that. DeJounte Murray, broken hand. We're gonna watch that. If anything is good about that, it's not a shooting hand, but it's still, when your point guard are clear, you're not gonna be able to play. But I remember it was a couple years ago, right? Chris Paul broke his left hand, and I want to say he wasn't out as long as it looked like initially. So we'll see. Couple other things from Pacers Pistons. The Tyrese Halliburton could not make a jump shot all night long. He went 1 for 9 from 3, but the one he made was like the dagger. Near the end of the game. I'll scroll down and show a little bit
Cunningham.
Of Pistons box score. Yeah, Cade Cunningham was really, really good. One thing I noted this over on Twitter, I really liked that the Pistons, one of the things that they did was they were having other guys bring the ball up. Primarily it was Jaden Ivey, but also Tobias Harris. The Pacers were playing a lot of, especially with Andrew Nembhard, were playing a lot of full court, picking guys up 94 feet. And that just like Cunningham, he was often the second, even third guy to touch the ball in the half court sets. And he was able to get them into some good stuff. So it's a loss for the Pistons, but not a bad one. I think if anything, you should come away with this feeling a little bit encouraged and feeling kind of good about where they may go.
Yeah, agreed. And especially, when Cade has a night like this, a really good performance from him. The Pacers are the better team. This is a game you would expect the Pistons to lose. And I actually thought, the Pistons, they hung in there a lot longer than I thought. It wasn't just like a runaway, which I kind of expected it to be. Now, this game was the Raptors. Yeah. The Raptors, I'll say this, the Raptors jerseys looked phenomenal.
They did. They looked great.
They were so nice. But the Cavs, they really took it to him. And Keith, how about Evan Mobley? I mean, this is a guy that we said could take a big leap this year. 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. I mean, stuff in the stat sheet. And then, of course, on top, 25 points, 9 of 14 shooting. Ooh, leading the team there. Is this a sign of things to come for Mobley?
Yeah, it might be. I mean, him and Allen, too, combined for 7 block shots in this game. If you look over at the left-hand side, Cavs minutes all super low because this game was such a blow. I mean, they were up by 30, 40 points at various points in this one, ended up winning by 30. Dean Wade, a little bit of the surprise starter, I think, at the small forward spot. He stepped in and played in place of Max Strus, who's going to be out. That could be a mix, like a mixing and matching kind of thing, depending on the matchup. But Karis LeVert played plenty and played really well off the bench. He was, pretty unstoppable in the moments I was checking out this game. They made a whole bunch of shots, and then if we flip down to the Toronto side of the box score, I mean, it's just ugly everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
nobody played well for the Raptors. It was a mess of a game.
Well, no
You
RJ Barrett too.
Yeah, no RJ Barrett, no Bruce Brown's obviously out. You can see their inactive list. Kelly Olynyk was out. Jacoby Walter also out. Just a messy game for them. Scotty Barnes shot terribly. Didn't really look engaged in the moments I was watching this game. I'm gonna watch a little bit like through some of the possessions of this game in the morning when I get up. But yeah, it was a pretty ugly night. And now we await word on Manuel quickly to find out what's exactly going on with that injury with him, because he only played 14 minutes and was forced out of it early, and he missed time in the preseason too. So that's a little worrisome.
And they were listing it as a pelvic injury.
Yeah,
which, I mean, that's never an injury that you want. So
no,
not good.
Yeah, definitely not. So so we'll see, with that one. Just seeing, a couple people, Mobley is legit. Whew. Yeah, absolutely. Cavs get a free 3-0 start. This from our sports. They play Detroit and
Washington next. Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. That should absolutely get off to a 3-0 start without a doubt. But that was a problem for them at times last year. They lost some of the games that they should have won. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, taking care of business. If you win the games you should win, that just makes life so much easier when you avoid,
it really does.
Bad losses. And speaking of avoiding a bad loss, the Bucks went into Philly against a weakened Sixers team, and they took care of business. Giannis was great. Dame looked really good. Really lively from Dame. I thought he was really moving well. I thought he was playing at great pace and doing some stuff. So I think that was pretty good stuff with him there. Playing well with that. And then Tyrese Maxey.
This game's getting spicy.
Yeah, I know.
You see what's going on here?
Too. Yeah, we're getting down to it here. We'll pause for a moment.
2-point Phoenix lead, and we've got 5 seconds left. Free throws coming to the Clippers. Oh my goodness. This is awesome.
Yeah, we may be in front office double overtime.
Front office double overtime. Well, I don't even know if that was a foul. I don't know.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough. Grayson, I mean, you can't
Grayson
defend
Allen's
that.
Big. I bet he gets the benefit of the doubt there. But little guys don't play like that.
That was hands straight up. He just took the contact. He did. I mean, he didn't lean forward at all. Harden at the free throw line. We could have a tie game here with 5 seconds left.
So maybe the first one. Yeah, that fan wall is pretty cool. I know you.
Yeah, when we get a break here, I actually have a clip of the fan wall that I want to play here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And second free throw for Harden.
Let's see.
He missed it. Harden misses the second free throw.
Nurkic came up
with a rebound and a quick foul there by the Clippers. Man, that's a costly missed free throw there.
They have a timeout, so they should be able to set up for a tying shot or
right. And now this is where maybe that fan wall. Now you've got Nurkic shooting free throws. Maybe that fan wall becomes a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. This is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to deter free throw shooters.
Yep. See, in this, for anybody watching and tuning in, we don't necessarily intend to have games, but the NBA blessed us with an overtime game here on our inaugural front office overtime of the season. So we're excited. Nurkic, cool, calm. Drains the first.
Yeah, he looks like Sasha Vujacic there.
Yeah, there it is.
Just knocking him down. No, slightly less pressure, but still knocking it down. Let's see what he does here on the second.
Man, that kid's hair is something.
And it's a 3-point Suns lead. Timeout Clippers. We'll see if if the Clippers can come back and tie it. They're going to try to obviously go for a 3 here. Here's that fan wall. Just while we're talking about it. Here it is.
It's definitely a different look than anything you are going to see in an NBA arena of what that end looks like, and clearly, road teams are going to be shooting into that in the second half every night.
That's pretty
so
cool. That's pretty cool.
For those who don't really know much about the fan wall, one of the things with the fan wall is the you have to be a Clippers fan, and if you're not in Clippers gear, you're out. They're gonna remove you, not from the arena. They already said like they'll find another place for you to sit, but you're not going to be allowed to sit there unless you're in Clippers gear. And ideally, they want you in Clippers gear and going absolutely bonkers in that fan wall. So yeah, man, that's going to be good. Let's we'll get back to the Bucks and Sixers here in a minute. We'll watch this last possession.
Yeah, Keith, let me ask you your philosophy. Do you foul here if you're the Suns up 3?
Yep.
I'm with you. I do it.
I hate it, but it's the right strategic move. But I wish it wasn't a thing.
Based on the current rules, I think everyone should do it, and if everyone does do it, you should legislate it out of the game.
Yep, agreed. Yeah.
But right now, based on the rules right now, everyone should do it.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Clippers to inbound. They want to get it to Harden if they can. Oh, they're having trouble getting it in. Oh, they turn it over on the inbound. That's the game. The Clippers turn it over on the inbound, and the Suns are going to win in OT, 116-113.
There it is. All right. Well, it looked like it went right off Harden's hand. Look, he took his eye off it, maybe. Well, we'll see if we get a replay.
Keith, I was hoping this one would go, like quadruple overtime.
Yeah, I was hoping maybe right to the end of the show.
Right, and we could be watching this game the whole time. Yep, it just went right off his hands.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, it looked like he was maybe turning to try to get the shot before he caught it. It's like running before you catch it in football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just had his head turned a little bit. All right.
Exactly.
All right, let's back to it. Yeah. All right. So Bucks, 76ers. Sixers obviously undermanned without Embiid, without Paul George. We're not doing a news here today. We'll do this on tomorrow's show, but the NBA is going to investigate what's going on with Embiid, because technically that runs afoul of the participation policy, because they didn't say he's injured.
And national TV game.
National TV game, yep, and all that stuff. So we'll see like that. But yeah, you've got where I was going before we caught the end of Suns Clippers. Damian Lillard looked terrific. Like just was moving really well, looked like really spry. He was quick. He got into his shots really, really good. So I thought he looked good. Giannis was Giannis. Taurean Prince was the starter in place of Chris Middleton. So kind of picked up doing what he does, right? Made a bunch of shots and did some stuff there. Gary Trent Jr. hit some shots. I thought he played fairly good defense against Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey had a bunch of points, but on a bunch of shots. And then you could tell, just look at the bench minute distribution outside of Portis and Connaughton and Wright. Whoever that fourth bench player is going to be, Doc Rivers is going to figure that out over the course of the next little bit here. Over on the Philly side, Maxey, 31 shot attempts. Fine.
Who else was going to shoot?
Yeah,
aside from Oubre, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Kelly Oubre would raise his hand and say, "Me, I'll take a few."
I will take those shots.
Right. KJ Martin was a little bit of a surprise starter, but Nick Nurse said he had a really good camp and wanted to reward him for that. Andre Drummond, hit the boards, and a couple nice finishes there. Gershon Yabusele actually looked pretty good at times for Philly. Philly just was overmatched in this one. It was a good team against a weakened opponent.
Yeah, and disappointing for opening night for the 76ers to not have Embiid. And I mean, one of the biggest moves, maybe the biggest move of the summer, was Paul George to Philly, and to not have him there, and to not have Embiid there. I mean, that's rough, especially again, if you're like, this is the type of game that once those two guys are out, maybe should have been flexed off of national TV. And this is why the NBA is going to be cranky about this situation. They're like, this was our big matchup, and it kind of got ruined in a bit in a way because of no Embiid and no Paul George. So it'll be interesting. We could talk about it more on the show tomorrow, but interesting to see what that investigation is going to look like. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, well, we'll see. With that, Yeah, maybe we'll get more detail before we record tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
All right, we will go to now Orlando and Miami. This was an absolute beatdown.
Whew.
Really, pretty quickly too. The Magic handled this one. They jumped all over the Heat. Late in the first half, and then in the second half just blew their doors off. Paulo and Franz did their thing. Gary Harris, though, he hit 5 threes in the first half, and then he only took like 1 or 2 more in the second half because it was such a blowout. There, Jalen Suggs got himself in foul trouble very early on. So Anthony Black was the one who got the initial minutes and actually delivered pretty good. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a couple really nice reads for the Magic. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope didn't make any shots, but man, you can see how hard it is going to be to score on this Magic team when they're locked in defensively, especially that backcourt.
A little bit of news. Test confirmed. Fractured left hand for Pelicans guard DeJounte Murray.
Oof, brutal.
Sidelined for an extended period of time. I wonder if the fact that he says extended period of time.
Yeah, that tells you.
I wonder if it was a bad break.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's not good. We will get to the Pelicans game.
Yeah.
Here, momentarily.
But to your point, Keith, I thought what stands out to me is the Magic went and got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to increase their team's overall 3-point shooting. They shot fairly well from 3 as a team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was 0 for 5. Go for it, right?
Yep. And I scrolled all the way to the bottom here just so you can see these bottom line numbers. Overall, Miami 39% from the field, 32.4% from 3. That's actually not too bad. But then they had 11 turnovers too. So just a rough get night for them. They just couldn't get anything going. And if I'll pull it back up a little bit so we can see some of the guys. Jimmy Butler, nightmare night for him.
You're not getting paid on that production.
No,
that's for sure.
No, that's not the case you wanted to make. But I mean, he was far from the only one to play poorly. It was pretty much all of their main guys across the board. There's just not much more to take away from this one. From that, we'll do the Pelicans since we're on the topic a little bit, and then we'll come back and do Hawks Nets. So Pelicans Bulls. Obviously, this story here, DeJounte Murray. Now, DeJounte Murray, I'm going to go down to the Pelicans first. He still was out there playing and almost had a triple-double, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. But apparently that broken hand is just now he's out. So, just brutal. We've been talking about how this team had too many guys. Well, this isn't how we want to solve it. If you're just checking out the box score too, you're going to see Zion Williamson not in there. He's out with an illness. I think he has the flu. I think is what they said. He missed practice.
Come on.
Day. So, yeah.
And I'm not. I can't be mad at Zion. If you're sick, you're sick. It's the way it goes. If you got the flu, like you can't play basketball with the flu. But unless you're Michael Jordan. But my goodness,
flu,
like just
one or the other.
Right. I mean, but my goodness, just come on, basketball gods. Let's not start with this crap already. I mean, come on. We want Zion out there and to see him out there playing. Paul George, Joel Embiid, DeJounte Murray gets injured. Let's knock this stuff off. Let's knock it off. Let's get these guys out there and healthy. But let's go here. Brandon Ingram was phenomenal. He was fantastic. I mean, 33 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, smooth on his jumpers, got to his spots, 3 of 5 shooting from deep. The 3-point shot was what we heard this offseason he was getting better at, that he was wanting to incorporate more. That's more the volume that we saw a couple seasons ago from BI. So, I mean, look, I'm assuming that a breakup is coming at some point between now and the trade deadline between Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans. This is what the Pelicans need from him. And they need it from him in order to win games right now, but they also need teams to go, oh, well, okay, maybe paying him on his next contract wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then that's going to grease the wheels on eventually getting a deal done. So long way to go, obviously, before trade season starts heating up in the NBA. But Brandon Ingram, just like Zach LaVine with the Chicago Bulls, guys to monitor to see how they're playing, because that's going to go a long way towards determining what things look like on that market.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, CJ McCollum, much maligned, the guy, hand up, myself included, were
Sure.
like, yeah, probably maybe shouldn't even really be in this starting group anymore. He came up with a pretty strong game as well. And then Jordan Hawkins, I'm very curious to dive into his stuff. And then for anybody who doesn't know, if you're watching the video here, on NBA.com, anybody can do this. This isn't like some access that Trevor or I have. Anywhere you see a blue link, you can click on that and it'll pull up the video of that specific play. So but I'm not going to do it right now because it takes a little bit to load. But anything you want to see. So if you want to watch Jordan Hawkins'
Those
9
attempts.
3-point attempts, which is their 9 shot attempts, which is something I'm personally going to do in the morning. We'll pull those up, and then that's an easy way to watch through some of the stuff. If you just want to see what does that look like, what were those blocks? What was this guy's turnovers? What were his shots he took? You can any one of these blue links you can pick up, click. It'll pull a video clip of that individual play, and then you can see it. And if you click on Brandon Ingram's 23 field goal attempts, it'll show them all in order throughout the game, and it just one flows right into the other. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing that the NBA has out there, and they, honestly, thankfully they do, because it makes things a lot easier sometimes to pull and rip clips for different stuff. On the Bulls side of this one, Lonzo Ball looked pretty good. Didn't do a whole lot. Played. We laughed about his very specific minutes restriction. He got 13:39 there, so 14 minutes if we round it off. But yeah, looked okay. Josh Giddey, kind of good, okay game. Kobe White was all right. Nick Vucevic, Zach LaVine looked really strong. I think
except for the turnovers.
Yeah, the turnovers were a lot. Yeah, 7 of them. Yeah, and that some of that came too when he was trying to I got this. Let's go. It got a little messy. He drew Herb Jones a lot too, which let's face it, that's hard, right? That's not an easy guy to have guarding you, especially on opening night. It's funny. I had a couple different guys that I talk with regularly on game nights who were Bulls fans, and they're like, hey, worked out. Zach LaVine looked good. Lonzo played. Other guys looked good, and we lost. So pretty good. They were not unhappy with the end result there. So I guess to protect and pick be damned. The Bulls fans were okay with the losing night. All right, let's we skipped it, so let's come back to it. I ended up watching a lot of this game, Hawks Nets. I found myself just getting pulled over to it quite a bit. On the Hawks side, Trae Young was great, but look at this one right down here. Onyeka Okongwu was unstoppable in this game. Now, the Nets started a little bit of a funky lineup. It kind of doesn't really matter who you call the 5. It was someone, Dorian Finney-Smith or Ben Simmons. Nick Claxton came off the bench. He's been out for a while, so I think they just were trying to ramp him back up versus throwing him right in there. And then Nick Claxton, super ugly play. He came down. Dyson Daniels beat him down the floor, and he just wound up and wiped Dyson Daniels out. And then Dyson Daniels got up ready to brawl.
And it was a flagrant 2 ejection, right?
Yeah, yep, flagrant 2 and got tossed. And it was every bit of a flagrant 2 and should have been thrown out there. So not to be just because I'm seeing one, don't spam the chat because we're not going to answer your question if you do that. We're not talking trade stuff tonight. We're talking about the games. If you want to get that question in, Front Office Friday tomorrow. Today, I guess, later today, because it's 1:15.
I mean, we haven't gone to sleep.
It's Thursday.
Technically, it's already Thursday.
Yes.
If you're especially on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's not the next for me. It's not the next day until I go to sleep.
True.
That's how
point. Yeah, that's how I think of it too. So all right, but we'll get there. But we'll get there with that. And then I saw someone else. I know you did a super chat, but we're gonna not promote stuff that might be questionable links and streams because that'll just get us in trouble. So
and I gotta say too, just on that, we don't have to get into a full conversation about it, but if you've been around for a while, like Keith, both you and I have, you remember what league pass prices used to be, and over the last couple of years they've brought it down big time. And I also say look, people have complained about League Pass in the past and that it's not, the quality is not good. I've had a lot better luck with it over the last few seasons, and I've bought League Pass for the last 20 years. Whatever it's been. For as long as I can remember, I've bought League Pass.
Yeah.
So it has improved, and they have brought the price down a ton. So I think it's more of an attractive option than ever. And especially if you love basketball like we do, it's a great way to be able to bounce around to any game you want at any time. We'll talk more about it tomorrow when we've got more time and we're not running on fumes and all of that. But check it out.
Yeah. All right. So back to this one. Okongwu dominated on the interior. That's where I was going with that. The Nets did not play kind of traditional lineups, at least to open the game there. Then Claxton got tossed. Trae Young was pretty, didn't have the best shooting night that he's ever had. Got himself to the free throw line quite a bit, but did everything you want out of him as a playmaker. Clint Capella was pretty solid. And then Zach Risachet did not shoot it well, but very first shot, ripped a three, looked pretty good, confident taking it. Jalen Johnson had a nice all-around game. This is what Jalen Johnson's going to do. He's just going to kind of stuff the box score in a whole bunch of different categories. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Fortunately, 6 turnovers. That's not what you want to see. But yeah, it was crazy. What General Tool gave us super chat, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that game. We'll do it when we get to that game.
We're almost there. So, so then we flip over to the net side of the box score. Ben Simmons, little sloppy with the turnovers, definitely fouled a lot, but looked good, looked like Ben Simmons. Like he just didn't really want to shoot the ball, but did his thing as a playmaker. Had some really nice defensive plays. He kind of did what he used to do. This was him just kind of defending everybody across the board on a bunch of different possessions. And then Cam Thomas, I know the chat's blowing up about him a little bit. This is what Cam Thomas does. He's going to take a ton of shots. He made some ridiculous ones, including he almost like willed the Nets back into it late in not regulation, but late in the game. Looked like he might even force this thing into going into overtime too. And just, he was bombs away and was really, really good, for the Nets. So
the chat is saying Cam Thomas is my fantasy pick. And he absolutely was. I did an industry draft the other day with a bunch of other people in NBA media, and I got sniped on Cam Thomas. I'm like, that's my pick. That's my guy. And I got sniped on Cam Thomas. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was the guy I targeted in the couple drafts I did was Josh Giddey. Because I think he's just gonna, fill up the box score with a bunch of stuff, and that's what you want in fantasy, right? But Cam Thomas is, what do we call a guy? Professional scorer, right? Cam Thomas. But I'm not gonna say he will lead the league in scoring, but he's gonna be up there. But he's finishes. He'll be up top 5. Yeah. So
agree with that.
But this is probably gonna be what it is for the Nets this year. Probably gonna be a bunch of games that. Not going to go so hot for them with that. So, all right.
Agreed. Last thing, but as you're leaving that game, go ahead. You can flip to the next game. But last thing is, if you noticed, Clint Capella got about 20 minutes for the Hawks in that one, whereas Okongwu, who was on a heater, but 28 minutes. Just something to keep an eye on. Is this the year that role flips in terms of the minutes with Capella not getting the lion's share anymore? Does it flip to Okongwu? Just something to keep an eye on with the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, ships passing in the night, right? Like that's what it feels like. It's one's aging out, one's coming forward, and we've all been waiting on it a little bit. Here, I know you pulled the Brandon Miller clip, so let's
you want to see
run that real quick. Yeah,
let's do it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right, it might end up being the dunk of the year. I don't know, but let's check this out. This is Brandon Miller. Here we go.
Back in 2021.
Brandon Miller, first dunk of the
we need to do it again.
2021. Brandon Miller, first dunk of the year.
So
I love how Şengün was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro.
Business decision.
You can have that one. Business decision, indeed." Now, unfortunately, that's kind of all Brandon Miller did. He left shortly thereafter with a hip injury, left with hip soreness. So let's hope that's nothing because he's really important. But this, for me, the surprise of the night. the Hornets without Brandon Miller taking down the Rockets. You cannot have losses like this if you're the Rockets and you want to be a playoff team. You have to be the lower end Eastern Conference teams. But let's give the Hornets their love. LaMelo Ball was awesome throughout this game. Trey Mann stepped up big time. I've talked about him on the show before. He was really good for the Hornets at the end of last regular season after he got traded there, and he played a bunch. He was really, really good for them in this game. Grant Williams made a bunch of big plays late in the game, including he had a huge steal, and then he hit a huge three-pointer. Hornets, my Hornets, right? I've been saying it all year. They're going to be frisky in the play-in tournament race. But
I saw that score, and I went, Keith is the only person in the world right now that's going, I'm not surprised. I'm not.
Yeah, I was surprised.
You were still surprised that they got this one, but Trey Mann, I mean, that's pretty big time. LaMelo Ball, his post game interview will not go down in history as one of the greatest ever, but put up some stats in this game. That tends to be the case with the LaMelo Ball interviews, but he puts up numbers. Really nice performance from the Rockets. What happened?
Showed up.
Yeah,
everybody else was waiting, I guess. I don't know for what, but Şengün was great. Early on in this game, the Hornets could not keep him off the offensive glass. He had 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter, 18 rebounds for the night, 5 assists, 4 steals, a block, 25 points. Jalen Green, this is one where if you just looked at the counting stats, you'd be like, he played pretty well. Wasn't efficient. He took some kind of crazy shots that weren't such good looks. Fred VanVleet couldn't buy a bucket. Jabari Smith Jr. just wasn't involved at all. And then they got not a lot off their bench. Reed Shepherd didn't do a whole lot there. So better days to come for the Rockets. It'll be better as the year goes along. But this was you don't want to put what a bad loss, on opening night because it's one night, but it's like you can't
in the West.
You can't be losing games like this. You got to be out there. So, we'll kind of see where it goes from there. All right, where are we going next? Who's up next? Watch a good chunk of this one. Memphis and Utah.
Okay.
This was these 9:00 games are nice because these are the ones where if the West Coast the finale games aren't fully kind of getting cranking yet, and you hit a good 9:00 game. Look at the guy at the bottom, though. You remember that guy?
Hang on, I got to get back over to this screen. I was pulling some stats here.
Okay.
My guy Jay Huff
went nuts. He closed the game for the Grizzlies on a 2-way contract. He hit.
Zach Edey fouled out, but Jay Huff, man, get it done.
Yeah, Zach Edey was rough. We'll just call it like it is. He had a hard time. When we get down to the Jazz side of this, you're going to see Walker Kessler was big time. But Jay Huff was terrific. 13 points, hit 3 3-pointers, looked really good for Memphis. Just something to keep in mind. Memphis has 1 open standard roster spot still. Maybe that could go to Jay Huff at some point down the line. Santi Aldama, also really good, 27 points. John Morant and Desmond Bane did their thing. Their jaw looked good. He looked, joyous, I guess is the best way.
Got a bucket really, to close it out too.
Yeah. Yep. Him and Marcus Smart made a circus shot, as Marcus Smart does to get that win. So pretty solid win for Memphis, all things considered. Utah, that's probably going to be how it is. It'll probably be pretty competitive, but some losses coming. Lauri Markkanen was awesome. Walker Kessler was pretty good. Colin Sexton was good. The guy who was a huge disappointment, Keontae George, 3 of 18 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Really struggled. Taylor Hendricks made some plays. His fellow second-year player looks just better, more relaxed, more into it. John Collins, our guy, played okay off the bench. So, but yeah, the one that stands out here to me though, Walker Kessler, 16 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks. He was dominant on the interior. So, guy who needs to reestablish himself, and we're off to a good start with that.
And Walker Kessler and Zach Edey battled each other in summer league. And that was, I believe it was summer league. Maybe it was, it could have been preseason. I might be mixing the two up. But anyway, over the summer, they battled each other in a game.
Yeah.
Was it summer league? Anyway, it was pretty close. You're seeing the battle between the two.
Mm-hmm.
This was not the case tonight. Walker Kessler was the man. And I mean, fantastic performance. This has got to be Walker Kessler going, don't think about bringing me off the bench again.
Yeah. If it keeps going like this, though, that's done. And also, if it keeps going like this, he's not getting traded because there'd be no reason to even consider it at this point. We'll pull this one from Shumarai. I like that. That's funny. I'm also very punchy, so maybe it's not that funny. But Keontae George was hot garbage. Utah lost because of him. He
had a bad shooting night. Like that's. See, Keith, my thing with situations like this, it's always what is real? What do you believe? Do you believe that Keontae George is a 3 for 18, is a 17% shooter? That is what he is as a basketball player. If that's what it is, then yeah, you're right. That's garbage. He's a terrible player and he's not going to last in the NBA long. But we all know that's not the case. Everybody has off nights. That's okay. He's going to have.
He struggled to shoot it last year. Like he was under 40%. And that's what's.
But he's not that bad.
No, he's definitely not. What I think also bums me out is it's the 2 for 12 on 2-pointers. Like that's the rough part. He just couldn't finish around the rim. He was breaking down the defense. You see, he has 7 assists. He only had 1 turnover, so he played a nice floor game. Just couldn't make shots. I mean, that's ultimately in the end. All right, so we can get to our super chat here. We'll pull up the Warriors one, and then we'll. Oops. 139-104. The Warriors were not messing around. And our guy here, General Tool, says, first time, long time. Thanks, man. Love the show. Just got home from the Blazers game, and boy, is it going to be a rough season for them. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right. I think you are right. Here's the takeaways from this. I did not watch a lot of this game. I ended up getting pulled into the end of the Grizzlies Jazz game and then into the Clippers Suns game more. So I will watch this when I wake up in the morning. But Buddy Hield had 22 points. I did see there was times when they were very clearly running actions for Buddy Hield. But what surprised me a little was look at the starting group. They went with that big group.
Right, they did. I saw that too. I went, no pods in the starting 5. That was the solution, apparently, that Steve Kerr went with, because we kept talking about who's going to be the odd man out between Kuminga, Draymond, Trace Jackson Davis, Wiggins. What's going to happen? Only 3 of them can play. And Steve Kerr said, no, all 4 of them can start. And and it's going to be Brandon Podziemski who's going to come off the bench. So apparently that was the solution. And Brandon Podziemski said, yeah, I'm going to come off the bench and shoot 0 for 5. So
here's the thing.
Not ideal.
I will say this: 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Find ways to impact the game other ways, right? Moses Moody played for 15 minutes, basically, if you round it up. He had 15 points. So good first night out for him. The stats are a little wonky here just because of the blowout nature of this one. We'll flip it over to the Blazers side. There's just not a lot here. Scoot Henderson, 7 of 18, 0 for 5 from 3. Like, come on, man, pick it up. Like, it's going to be me and nobody else left on Scoot Island here pretty soon. I was already.
It's going to be you, and you're going to paint a face on a volleyball. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was already earlier today. I felt alone on Wiseman Island. The Wiseman family packed up and left.
Yeah, they're gone
the summer, and it was just me. I'm the only one left, and that I'm probably gonna have to call in the Coast Guard to come pick me up. So we got the there's just not much here on the Blazers side.
just in general.
Yeah, they just shot terribly. I mean, well, I'll have a better feel for it after I watch it in the morning, but I can already tell you I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I'm just going to see there till probably the first half, and then because this one I know was a blow up by halftime. All right, and then we close it out with the game we watched the end of together. And thanks to the Suns and Clippers for going overtime on the first front office overtime. The Suns come away with the win. That's probably the expected result. So they kind of from everything I saw, the box score matches it. The Suns did what the Suns do. What was really nice was, as everybody else threw the ball all over the new gym, Tyus Jones and Monte Morris came in and no turnovers in their combined minutes and played really good and helped stabilize a lot of stuff for the Suns, especially Jones played really, really well. So
And
that's what you
that's
need.
exactly
You know,
exactly what they got. Exactly
Yep.
what they got. Or what they got him for was to do that. Take care of the basketball, get guys the ball in the right spots, play mistake free, and then knock it. I mean, 1 from 5 from 3. He's not going to do that most nights. He's a better 3-point shooter than that, but just a steadying performance from Tyus Jones. And so, check that box for the Suns. Bradley Beal getting 24 points. I thought obviously extremely efficient, 8 of 12 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3.
Quick too.
Yes, he did.
Really,
he did.
really fast. So
Got
it's
baseline a few
feeling
times.
pretty good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Blew by a couple of the Clippers. And the Clippers, for all that they're limited without Kawhi, they still have a bunch of guys who can defend. Terrence Mann, Chris Dunn, the different guys they're going to put out there that can really get after Dirk Jones Jr. As well with that. I'm not going to yell because it's 1:30 in the morning. I'll wake up the whole house. But yeah, Oso flashed a couple times, had some rebounds, had a nice block, couple rim protection plays where he deterred some shots. So I'm pretty happy with his performance as well. We flip over to the Clippers side of the box score here. There's a lot of James Harden. That's going to be what it is. If Norman Powell shoots better, they probably win. That's not much more to say other than that. Zubac kind of did his thing inside. But yeah, I mean, you just need Norman Powell to make a few more shots. Harden too, I guess. He didn't.
Yeah, 10 of 28.
10 of 28. It's not very good. So, come on. This is the fake Trevor, Mike Wolf, older Trevor, I guess younger Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah, that's me. Trevor. That's me like 15 years and 20 pounds ago. Yeah, that's
Clippers
me back
Arena
then.
Looked ugly. Come on, man. No, it didn't.
I thought it looked nice. Yeah. I still think you know what? I watched the game and now I have this overwhelming urge to go on a cruise though, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's the subliminal messaging.
Little cruisy.
No, but I liked the arena. I thought it looked good. I was skeptical when Terrence Mann said that this was the best defensive team he's been on. But I thought they did look good defensively. They were certainly competing on that end of the floor. But I don't know. I mean, this was a lot. This was a lot of effort from the Clippers. I think they really went all out. And the Suns were just the better team. And I wonder if in the West, if that's going to be the case for the Clippers on a lot of nights where they put up a fight and they play a spirited game, but ultimately the talent in the end, there's too much of a disparity and it wins out. So something to watch. But again, I will say this game was closer than I expected it. I mean, going to overtime, I thought the Suns were going to win, not easily, but they were going to have a solid lead here and then kind of coast across the finish line. And that did not happen. So credit to the Clippers on that front.
100%. Yeah, they were pretty tough. So yeah, it's we'll see with that. It's it's going to be a tough year for them. I think now that one of us picked them to even make the postseason, and you kind of saw why. Like they can be super competitive. They're just going to struggle a little bit to get it done. In the against the best teams. Now the arena was not half empty. It was full.
I think it was Dan Wojcicki for the LA Times who tweeted something about there are empty seats in the arena, but that it was really loud in there still.
Yeah, I mean I think Clippers fans might be a little like, it's also, I know a ton of people are like, it's freaking really hard to get there, because it's just not, it's going to games in LA, it can be a chore, to say the least with that. So there, and a lot of people are like, it's not only that, they're like, it's going to end and it's going to take forever to get home too and get out of there. So, but it looked cool. Like, I think, it give those fans a reason to show up with a good team. I think, people will be pretty happy there. Today, literally today, the last 6 teams that haven't played yet will all tip off. The Wizards host the Celtics, so good luck to them in their home opener. You got Spurs Mavs. We haven't seen them yet. Thunder Nuggets. Those are the 2 national TV games on TNT.
I can't wait for
And
that
then
game.
yeah, both of those games are going to be terrific. And then Kings Timberwolves, which is also a really good game. So,
Yeah,
or should be a
that's
really
gonna be
good
great.
game. And the Kings for opener as well. So, little bit of a little weird that we didn't 6 teams haven't played yet, but that's nice balance. Yeah, we're gonna pull up Dark Knight here. Chad, here, let's hit that like button. Yeah, we got a lot of
Let's do
people
it.
watching right now. We're let's get a little bit of a like spike going and get this picking up here. It'll just help people find it. We're gonna do this semi regularly throughout the course of the season. We'll come live on overtime here. And when there's stuff to talk about, and if the late games are not good, if like let's say we only had Warriors Blazers, we would have started.
We just go early. Yeah,
we'll just go earlier and start breaking it down. But this was a lot of fun. This was
absolutely.
We don't spend a lot of time talking about games, and we do a lot more news and bigger picture type stuff. So it was really fun to do this. Our sports asks how many times a week? Probably 2 or 3. That's loose goal, but and it might be one where if it's if it's a like Saturday and there's there were a bunch of good games, we might just do it. That's going to be the fun thing. We can just kind of pull it up. We probably won't do it on nights when there were Laker games and the like, because we don't want to cannibalize. We know our audience. Celtics games as well is a little bit tougher with those 2 teams, but we'll jump in there and we'll have fun with it. So I'm glad you guys liked it. Hopefully people liked it and enjoyed it, because it was fun to really get into a bunch of the games and go through it. And the other nights won't be so heavy. There won't be
there was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
We'll be able to dig a little deeper in some of the games. And that's the other thing. It was physically impossible for us to watch every single game tonight. I watched as much of I tried to jump around to as many games as I could and catch highlights and all that of everything else. But yeah, most nights I think we'll be able to get a little deeper into the individual matchups. But yeah, this was a blast. This was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to be doing these now. At least a few times a week, and there'll be some nights maybe where I jump on and Keith's not available. There'll be some nights where I'm not available and Keith is, and that's the way it's going to go with these. But yeah, we wanted to make sure we kind of capture the fun of right after the games end, or right when everybody wants to talk about all this, jump in here and talk some hoops. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be doing more of these.
I don't like Keith's green shirt. Sorry, Ray. You're right too. It is a Celtic shirt. I see.
It's even is a Celtic shirt.
It is a Celtic shirt. Yep. It says "Protect the Parquet." This is I'll tell you another quick thing too. This is a shirt that I did not fit into like 2 months ago. So that's why I'm wearing it, because it fits. So I'm pretty excited about that. So it's that's a win. But yeah, guys, we had a blast with this. Because this is not going to be a set schedule thing. That's every reason why you should subscribe and turn on the notifications, so when we're going live. That way it'll tell you that we're going live. We'll always try to give you a little bit of notice on Twitter that we're going to go live later in the day, and then we'll get the show up there, and you'll always have the few minutes before we jump into it. But when it goes, so thanks for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun in the inaugural overtime edition.
That's right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you, and stay safe.